a little bit in your own words about Sex and Death, what it is and how you came up with the idea.
Well, it is a web series. Sorry, I'm just like arranging myself.
That's all right.
And I kind of just woke up, so I might take a little while to
That's okay.
warm up. Yeah, so originally I wrote it as a feature film, but then I adapted it into a web series. I spent like 3 years writing it, I think, and then sort of on and off, going on and off it, and then eventually decided to make it. But I guess at the time I thought it was just a love story when I was writing it. But then more and more I've kind of realized that it's more like a self-discovery kind of story.
Yeah.
And I guess the moment where, oh, actually I can't say this because it'll spoil the ending, but the moment where I realized that was when I made a decision that in the writing that just kind of, not only does she not get the guy she wants, you stop her wanting to get him.
Yeah.
So it totally stops being a love story, and it's more about her learning how to show integrity.
Yeah.
And without having to like hide parts of herself in order to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, from a writing point of view, we have a lot of writers who listen to our show. So tell us a little bit about that process. You wrote it as a feature film, but then developed it into a web series. What was that like, going back and then having to write it into episodes rather than just having it as a flowing feature film?
I kind of quite liked it because I love playing with structure, so it was kind of fun and at first I was like, oh, I'm not sure if it'll work, but then it worked really well, and there were sort of 6 parts, and it kind of makes it easier because you've got these little mini structures to fit a story into, so
yeah.
it makes it easier rather than trying to like fit a flow into one huge long story. You've got these 6 little tiny structures, so it kind of makes it really fun because you're moving around like different like scenes just within these like 6 little episodes.
Yeah.
I kind of enjoyed it. It didn't take too long, and actually it worked out.
Yeah.
Quite well, yeah.
And what was your writing process like? Do you have a team of people that you get together with and have writers' workshops and things like that, or do you solely write on your own and then only show it to people when it's completely finished?
Yeah, the second one.
Yeah.
I have like quite a lengthy process that one of my friends makes fun of me for, because I actually spend a lot more time writing backstory than I do writing the actual story.
Yeah.
I'll spend kind of like up to a year just, all I do is just write out backstories of what's happened to the characters in the past.
Yeah. I do
Oh, you do a similar thing?
Yeah, I've actually got these character charts. A screenwriting lecturer gave them to me, and it's like 500 questions that you should be able to answer about your character, and I spend so much time on them when I'm writing it out. Is that a similar kind of thing to what you do?
Yeah, I don't follow any cards or anything. I just like, it's really helpful. You just write everything that's happened to them in the past, and then when you go to write the story, it's really easy to make every kind of decision because you know exactly what the character would do and why they do it and why it's going to be emotional for them. But I have a friend that I don't write. I did try to write something with him once, and he got so frustrated because we were writing this backstory and he just found it so interesting. He's like, "Can this be the movie? Why can't this be the movie?" And I was like, "No. This is just building up to the movie."
Yeah.
But he'd tease me because sometimes I'd start not with the characters' childhoods, but with their parents' childhoods, and be like, "Okay, we're starting here and building our way up."
Yeah.
So I did that for a long time, but no, I didn't actually answer your original question. So I spent ages on the backstory, and then I do it all by myself. Sometimes I'll talk to people about it, and then basically I'll get to a point where I'll do like a read through with people, And then it's so much fun. Like a table read, and we'll all sit around. And I did maybe 5 different ones of that on the script.
Awesome.
It's really fun, yeah.
So your main character does go on a journey of self-discovery. Did you base that character on someone you know, or is there little elements of you in that character? Where did the idea for your central character come from?
Oh yeah, I based it on myself. Yeah, it was kind of interesting. I've written a few stories that are kind of similar. They're about like a search for self-integrity or integrity kind of in your way of interacting with people. And I never knew why that I kept wanting to tell that story, other than that obviously it's something I've always struggled with. And then after I finished writing it, I got diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder.
Yep.
And then I realized that, that's why I'm trying to write these stories, because I find socializing with people, I've always found it quite challenging, because I have always been trying to hide the fact that I'm quite different, or that my brain is really different in social situations, and I've tried to hide those differences to socialize with people in the same way that they socialize.
Yep.
So I've sort of masked all these differences. And so ever since I was a little girl, the easiest way of hiding those differences was through being really passive.
Yeah.
Because then no one sort of notices you. And
Yep.
so I always gravitated towards people that were less likely to notice that I was passive.
Yep.
And those people tend to be people that are like easily distracted with themselves. And so I guess that's what it's about. Like Charlie's in the series, her friends are really like they do come across as being really selfish, but actually it's because Charlie has encouraged that behavior, because she's trying to hide, and it has been quite successful. Like they don't notice her, which is exactly what she wants, and she gets to observe them and watch them and study how they interact and learn how you're meant to interact in situations.
Yep.
But it does get to the point where, because they don't notice her, it starts having a bad impact on her life.
Yeah.
They start taking things away from her that she wants.
Yeah.
She doesn't know how to say anything about it, because she's constructed this world where she's so passive.
Yeah. So do you find it easy to write about yourself and for your life? Because I find it really difficult. I've tried to sit down and write about things that have happened in my life before, and they always end up in my top drawer and I can't show them to anyone. So do you find it easier to be able to write about things that you've experienced?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I find it easy, and I also find it really enjoyable. I guess because it's kind of like a way of understanding what's happened, and often, like, the things I'll write about are things that I find really, really beautiful that have happened to me, and so I want to turn them into something.
Yeah.
I guess some of it was a bit like confronting to write, or some of it I wasn't sure, especially at the end when she finally does stop masking to a certain extent. I found that quite confronting to write, obviously because I've masked myself, and I found it confronting to stop masking. So writing it in the script, I was like, I don't know if this will be okay with people.
Yep. Yeah. So for
the rest of it.
Yeah. So for the writing, you wrote and directed. So what was it like for you then having to go out and cast this? Did you use people that you already knew, or did you do an open casting call for this?
Mainly people I already knew, which I like to do, and I like to use the same people over and over again. Although in this one, the only person I've used before is Bella, who plays Tanya. Yep. And she's acted in a lot of my films, and I love working with her. She's amazing and really supportive, and I think my first ever really exciting directing experience was directing her. When I first realized how good directing can be. Yeah. She's an excellent actor to work with.
Yeah.
And And then the main guy, Pat, we got a comedian to play him who I knew a little bit, and I'd seen him in a few things, and I could just tell that he had the right kind of vibe, and we got him in and did a little screen test, and it was good, and he was keen. And then the only person, and then Greg, who plays the drama teacher, was actually my drama teacher 10 years ago. And the character is based on him.
Yep.
And I kind of, like, he was quite a confronting drama teacher, but he wasn't crazy, like he is in the script. And I kind of wrote this part based on him, but, like, completely satirizing him and, like, turning him into this ridiculous, absurd character. And we tried really hard. We were, like, thinking, who can we get to play that part? And we were trying to figure it out. And eventually I was like, oh, maybe I can just ask Greg to do it. And it had been, like, 10 years since I'd seen him. And I sent him the script and was like, this might be a little weird for you. I'm like, the character has your name, but it isn't you. But it might seem like it's you. And I was really scared that he'd be, like, really offended, because I've turned this character into quite a depressed depressing sort of person. But he loved it, and he was like, I'd love to do it. And so it was really nice. He came along and he just, like, gave his all to it. Like, he went all out. You'll see in, like, episode 5, he just goes insane.
Yeah.
Really, like, it was amazing, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned before, we have a lot of writers and a lot of filmmakers that listen to this show. So tell us a little bit about the actual shoot. What was the challenges that you faced, and what were the best parts of the shoot?
The shoot overall was fantastic. I guess the biggest challenge was that we didn't have any money. I just paid for it all myself. So the biggest challenge for me was that we had to call in a lot of favors, or, like, you know, a lot of people were just working for free and that kind of thing. And that's a big challenge for me, because I always worry that I'm imposing on people. So the biggest challenge for me was that on Sundays I would be so distracted by whether I was annoying anyone or imposing on anyone that it would distract me from being able to, like, fully, comfortably direct and slip into character.
Yeah.
And I guess the other challenge is, like, acting and directing at the same time is quite hard. I did have a co-director there, but some days he couldn't make it. And it is quite hard, because whilst you're acting, you can feel and sense how the scene's going, but only from your character's point of view. And so many times the scenes are meant to be awkward. So when you're performing an awkward scene from your character's point of view, it doesn't feel, when it is going well and when it is coming across awkward, it doesn't feel to you like it's going well. Like, It feels excruciating to you.
Yep.
And so often I'd be thinking, like, oh, this is going so badly, it feels so wrong. Whereas that was actually a good thing, that it was feeling wrong.
Yep.
But it's hard to tell. So a lot of the time I would have to watch back takes and sort of, like, move my head from one headspace into another headspace. But overall it was just so much fun, the shoot. And the best days are the days when they were, like, the theatre days were so much fun, where we're just in the same location for 3 days and, like, just really sink in. And I try to, like, schedule it so we've got heaps of time for each scene. I hate having to rush stuff, and just so we've got heaps of time to do as many takes as we need. And yeah, it was so much fun.
Awesome. So I guess the big question now is, where can our listeners actually go to watch Sex and Death?
You can go, the best place to go is to the website, which is sexanddeath.online.
Yep.
Or you can watch it on YouTube on the Cool channel. So Cool is the production company run by Tobias Willis, who produced the series, and it's spelled Kewl. So if you go to, like, any of their socials, Facebook, Instagram, it'll all direct you back to the series. But it's hosted on YouTube, so you can watch it on YouTube or through the website. It makes it quite easy.
Awesome. And we'll put a link up there as well so people will be able to find it. And I guess to finish off, Kathleen, what would you like to say to people before they go out and watch Sex and Death?
I don't know. Enjoy it. I hope you like all the characters. I love all of them. And even though they might come across as being a bit selfish at the start, keep watching.
Yep. Well,
Okay.
thank you so much for chatting to us today. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we can't wait to see something else from you as well, because, yeah, we're absolutely in love with this show at the moment.
Thanks so much.
Awesome.